Mind calm, body at ease, breathing quiet, sentiment benevolent. Dharma friends, sitting still in vital silence, wanting nothing, we practice eco-Buddhism together. The sound of the temple bell booms for all to cease from conflict. May the way of Buddha usher in the dawn of non-violent global village forever. Here is the after sound of God. Thunder of silence, light after Dharma rain. Om Amura Vairochana Mahamudra Mani Padma Jivala Pradarshaya
Please stand and join me in offering of the three refuges. We will first chant the three refuges in Sino-Korean as we derive from the Korean language, and then in English. So please just throw your voice in, even though you do not know the Korean, it's good sound. And now in English, please repeat after me. I go for refuge to the Buddha.
I go for refuge to the Buddha,
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment.
I will cultivate a heart of enlightenment,
And realize the great way.
and realize the great way.
I go for refuge to the Dharma.
I go for refuge to the Dharma,
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will penetrate the teachings.
I will penetrate the teachings,
And uncover oceans of wisdom.
and uncover oceans of wisdom.
I go for refuge to the Sangha.
I go for refuge to the Sangha,
And resolve with all beings.
and resolve with all beings.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many.
I will seek peace and happiness for the many,
And transform this world into Buddha land unimpeded.
and transform this world into Buddha lands unimpeded.
And now please remain standing while I read these verses, connecting us to our in appreciation of our ancestors. On this, I think it's the 23rd day of June 2024, we acknowledge that this land where our temple buildings stand has been the home of Native peoples, the Potawatomi, Odawa, Ojibwe, the Council of the Three Fire Tribes, and also Black Americans. We know that this neighborhood used to be a historically Black neighborhood during times of racial segregation and oppression. For our own awakening and for the awakening of all life, may the benevolent energies of our meditation, chanting, and full presence here at this morning service extend to all beings on this planet and throughout time and space. May there be a deepening of our interbeing. May peace prevail. and wars cease. And now let's make 3 slow bows to the altar. Please return to your places. Right over 300. So take care of your body as you prepare for this 5-minute sitting. Notice the alignment of your spine and the stability of your sitting position. If you can, knees and buttocks should be in a triangular base, or whatever is the stable for you. And we'll begin and end with the sound of the bell. Please join me in some stretching. Taking this embodied practice as an opportunity to connect with our physical beings, our physical presence. Massaging ourselves all the way down to the occipital bone, working with the earlobes, and now as we breathe, we move forward to stretch the lower spine, looking up. And on top of my head. Remembering to breathe as we stretch all the way out. Touching upwards again. And then to the left. And over to the right. Placing our hands behind us. Knee forward. Bringing the arms up as far as you can. And then as we sit up, a nice deep breath in. And move into a spinal twist. First to the left. Bringing your eyes all the way around. So we are working with the spine, sending oxygen energy to the right hand side. Placing the fist at the base of the front. Some big upper body circles. Reverse direction. Passing our hands behind our head. Some sharp outward breaths. Proceed to the left. To the right. Reaching up to the sky, looking upward. Please sit comfortably. How does it sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. Welcome in from the 10 directions. It's good to see all of you this morning. My name is Ma'un, and I'm one of the temple priests. I live in the historic temple of the Yellow Building next door. And this morning, our topic is water. How many of you noticed on the way in that our gardens are absolutely flourishing? Yeah, they look beautiful, don't they? And have received a lot of water lately, both in terms of humidity and in terms of rain. I think we had some rain earlier this morning, maybe a little bit ago as well.
It just started as somebody was along over there.
Not exactly the same moment.
Cool, totally cool. Yes. So we live in the northern rainforest. And we have this, we're fortunate to have ready access to this precious element of water. In Buddhist traditions, and probably in other religions as well, this image of water comes up a lot. So you noticed when we did the 3 refuges this morning, the image of water was there when we talked about Dharma. So may I penetrate the teachings and uncover oceans of wisdom. If you look on our altar, we have this bowl here that contains water. It's on every one of our altars. And when we change the water, we offer the water to plants. In some traditions other than Zen, for example, in the Tibetan tradition, when they do, they also have water, they do a more formal water offering. So they start with 7, I'm just going to read this because I think it's interesting. Start with 7 clean bowls called ting in Tibetan, and a pitcher of fresh water. Tibetans usually use silver, brass, or copper bowls, which range from very plain to carved and intricately decorated treasures. One by one, pour a little water in each bowl before you place it on the shrine, lining the bowls up from left to right as you face the shrine. The reason to start with a little water in each bowl is that it is inauspicious to have a bowl sitting empty on the shrine. Tibetan Buddhist masters explain that each bowl should be the distance of 1 barley seed from the next one. Starting from left to right, fill each bowl with water almost to the top. Again, the common thought is that you leave the space of 1 barley seed from the rim of the bowl. While setting up your offering bowls, it is common for Tibetans to recite 1 or more of the common mantras. An example would be Om Mani Padme Hum. You heard that one? Om Mani Padme Hum. And they have various other mantras. Water is very plentiful in Tibet, something that is free and painless to give. We give everything as freely as water. Buddhists also recognize water as a precious resource. And there is this quote from Dogen about that relates to the precious resource quality of water. And he ties it to enlightenment. So Dogen says, enlightenment is like the moon reflected on the water. The moon does not get wet, nor is the water broken. Although its light is wide and great, The moon is reflected even in a puddle an inch wide. The whole moon and entire sky are reflected in dewdrops on the grass, or even in one drop of water. Enlightenment does not divide you, just as the moon does not break up the water. You cannot hinder enlightenment, just as a drop of water does not hinder the moon in the sky. And then there's this story about a student who came, I think it was still then, it had been another master. So they were working with this master and doing a water offering. Actually on, not so much an offering as it was preparing water for a bath, that's what it was. And so the water got boiled and it was too hot, so this student had to go and get cool water to cool it down, made many trips to the stream to get it just the right temperature. And then when it was just the right temperature, the student threw the rest out on the ground. And it was admonished pretty severely by the master, saying, how could you throw away this precious resource of water? And I think of our friends at our temple in Mexico City, suffering from a water crisis right now. Many other parts of our country in the world also have this. So it reminds us that we're kind of unique here in Michigan, and we need to not waste the water that we have. So these aspects of enlightenment, offering, preciousness of water, all of these images come up in our Jewish practice. We can also think about not only these aspects, but the qualities of water. So if you think about some qualities of water, what would they be? I'll start you with one. So it is cool and refreshing. What's another quality of water?
Cool or heat?
Cool to heat. What's another quality of water?
It takes the shape of the vessel.
Takes the shape of the vessel it's in.
Follows the path of least resistance.
Follows the path of least resistance. What else?
Fundamental to all life.
Fundamental to all life.
Usually conducts energy.
Easily conducts energy. Yeah.
It's a great cup of tea.
Makes a great cup of tea.
The fishing is a place to live.
Yes, that's what she's a place to live. Absolutely. Yeah.
Makes Earth unique.
Go ahead.
We'll find the rest, lowest place.
It finds rest in the lowest place possible. And we have one more over here.
It evaporates.
It evaporates.
Well,
Okay.
it makes you Earth unique, I think,
And
at least in our solar system.
Yeah. Okay, so if we, in our Buddhist practice, we look at Dharma not only as the written word, these formal teachings, but also we look at Dharma as that which naturally arises in the natural world. So water is one of those things that has a lot to teach us. And our founder, Zen Master Samasun, gave us some verses about water during a New Year's Eve Dharma talk in 2014. So for the rest of the time, I'd like us to work with these verses. So the first thing I'm going to do, just as read them. So place your hands on top, John. And as you read, maybe imagine yourself sitting by a stream, flowing stream of water. 7 virtues of the water course way. Number 1, water always flows low and down. From this, we learn humility. Number 2, water does not refuse dirty or soiled water. From this we learn inclusivity and magnanimity. Still sitting by that stream in your mind. When faced with obstacles, water takes a winding course and meanders to overcome impediments. From this we learn wisdom. Number 4, water adapts itself to any situation and fits into any size container. From this we learn adaptability and flexibility. Number 5, water is patient and endures as raindrops, dripping from the eaves and digging holes into stone. From this we learn perseverance. Number 6, water is not afraid of throwing itself over a cliff to make a cascading waterfall. From this we learn grit and courage. Number 7, water travels ceaselessly to reach the ocean, where it becomes one with the ocean. The Buddha in ocean samadhi. So in a few moments, you'll be receiving your own copy of the Water Course Way, and we'll be doing some small group discussions. Before we do that, I just want to talk a little about how we use this particular teaching in our seminary program, our training programs. Every month our students get together and we have discussions on meetings, and then everyone has an assigned home practice. And for some of our students, they have chosen the Water Course Way as one of their home practices. And this is a way, these are good guidelines for bringing Buddhist practices into your everyday life. So I talked to a few of our students who have chosen to work with Water Course Way and asked them, how are you working with it? And some of them said the first thing they did was memorize it, so that when they're going about through their day, they're readily available, and then these verses can come up when they see a situation that it seems pertinent to. A second method is to write it down. And so I tried this week. If I just take these verses and then in my own handwriting, write it down, to me that felt like a meaningful activity. Slow it down and maybe really pay attention to what the verses were about. And I resonated with it in a more embodied way. A third method is to actually physically go sit by a stream or a body of water and take these verses with you and see what comes up when you read them in that context. So a fourth method is to maybe choose one verse of the Water Course Way a day, and see how it comes up throughout the day. Fifth method is to journal about it. How many of you keep a journal? Yeah, so a few people. So this is a good topic if you keep a journal to write about the water course way. So let's just take, I'm going to take one as an example and then show you what we could do when we break into our small groups, okay? So let's just take number one. Water always flows low and down. From this, we learn humility. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just bring that image to mind, and I ask myself, as I observe water, is this true? Does it flow low and down? The answer is yes. I don't think I've ever seen it flowing upward. Maybe some of you have. That would be kind of unique. And how can I relate that to the humility? A Buddhist practice that we do every day at the temple is we start the day with 108 prostrations. And that's kind of a humility practice. Does everyone know what a prostration is in this room? Would you mind just quickly demonstrating one prostration so that everyone knows? So this practice of kneeling down, placing the hands in the forehead, on the ground, bringing the palms up, and palms down. So that can be seen as a humility practice. And then if I think about it, there may be other ways as I observe my life that this humility pops up. So then I tried copying this one down by hand and noticed that I had to slow down because when I'm in a hurry, what I do is I skip letters in words when I'm copying things. And so I was copying it, and it came out something like W-A-T, Watar. Down became T-W-N, something like this. So it made me pay more attention to the actual words. And then throughout my week, I chose one of these per day to reflect on to see maybe how it was coming up for me. So this humility practice, I noticed that I sort of like to have things structured, and I like to have things in control. And for me, letting go of that, letting somebody else take charge, is an act of humility. That's an example. So you get kind of the picture of working with these virtues of the water course way. I'm going to ask our readers to hand out some copies of this. So you each get a copy. And then we're going to break into groups. And once we break into groups, I'll come around and assign you each one of them to work with. So I'm thinking maybe groups of 4 is what we'll try for, but go ahead and pass them out, please. On this side of the room, we have some, so break into groups of 4, small group of 4. And then as soon as you have some, break into groups of 4. And I will come around and give you an assignment. So your assignment is when you receive your verse in your group, talk about what does this guideline mean to you? So, this group, you get number one, water flows slowing down.
Water doesn't always go
This group here,
because when it's
water does not refuse through your soiled water.
as one of the
This group, when faced with obstacles, water takes a winding course.
rivers.
This is a very large group here, and water adapts it to any situation and fits into any size container. So again, your assignment is, what does this mean to you? I would suggest you split into two groups, so you have more conversation. We get number 5, water is patient. You get number 6, grit and courage, not afraid of throwing itself off.
So water adapts itself to any situation.
And this group gets number 7, water travels ceaselessly to reach the ocean. So what does this guideline mean to
Not
you
water,
in your
Charles,
daily
for
life?
engineers that keep on going physics direction instead of philosophical.
If you heat it, it's going to expand. Small.
Actually, water technically, I think, shrinks when it's about.
You're right.
Because
You're right,
ice
it does.
expands and brings
Yeah,
life.
yeah, no, you're correct. Yeah. And so, right, so you put it in an ice cream.
I think water is very situational. I think it also is very situational because it isn't. It basically a way to describe it is it chooses to be adaptive in some situations. And like when it wants to, it can be a force of nature, like when it becomes steam or when it freezes into ice. But when it is at the right temperature, it can do anything it needs to. So it's both adaptable and flexible, but also, if you think about it, in lots of ways, it very much isn't. It has to be a choice. It can't be just, it isn't always natural, it has to be a choice. And to be adaptable and flexible.
But it does, you have a certain set of physics rules or laws that you develop. Like heat is just one of them. Like cold is something. Things thinking about inspiring CO2 it actually acts as a sink of CO2. The ocean absorbs a lot of carbon dioxide and the ocean.
In a way, that's flexible too, because it's making sure that the air doesn't have to take on all that weight. So, in a way, it's kind of offering itself up to spread things out. What do you think?
Goes along similar lines. What you body, food, giving life.
And I think some of it's adaptability, you know, and it may not always overlap with flexibility, but I think they're equally important. There are times when it's adaptable and times when it's flexible. And when it's flexible, it adapts to its environment, or when the environment demands it, it flexes. It isn't always both, but they're both good things.
One that is that Or,
You know, it's kind of a universal song.
travel seasonally. Yeah,
So it's,
and that's a temporary.
they usually take it in and share it.
Which is kind of something that I like to do. I like to share, and like find information and share it with as many people as possible. Sometimes I worry it sounds like I'm just like talking to everybody like, while actually speaking blah blah blah. But like, I don't know. I think I think that many different ones you can take this cool.
Right, they can go through the whole process of water evaporates, so far drops out into the mountain, over time accumulates into the glacier, and be there for a very long period of time. At some point it warms up and then the glacier melts. So it's kind of, it can cycle around in different ways.
Because then you have to adapt it once it adapts to you.
So each cold and
And I think because of modern technology, we learn this a little bit less, but throughout history, it's taught us a lot about adaptability. Because especially this is specifically relevant to this region of Michigan. Back before freezers were a thing, there was a huge industry of transporting ice from the rivers. We had to learn and adapt to preserve that ice year round. That's why there used to be, like ice cellars, built underground, so that they would transport that ice to people year round. So it has to teach us to be adaptable and flexible by sometimes.
So what I feel.
So we had to learn to adapt
really
to
like
it.
into like problems.
And it was a really big industry, specifically in this region, like here, I come from the upper area, so it's a really big industry specifically here that we had to learn to adapt to flexibility.
I'd like to say, and at the same time, it's all water and
Well, maybe one more minute, begin to bring your conversation. One more minute.
Oh, one more minute. And sometimes I think it teaches us, not by being what it meant, is trying to teach us, but forcing us to be that way to work with it. Because I don't think anybody thinks that the glacier is flexible, but we have to be flexible enough. You can't stop it either. I mean, name me a person who stopped the glacier. Name the effort. Seventy percent.
Please come back together. So you may feel like you've just got started, and I'm sorry to make it sort of short, but I would like us to take a little bit of time to hear what we learned. So for each group, if you could just give me one insight that you came up with. So the first group over here, you had number 1. What did you come up with? One insight from the group. So yours was water flows low and down from this feeling humidity.
This one, we have a number of observations that were really important and lovely. The tandem between Darwa and Ildra was sort of about humility, how we arrive at humility. So it might be this flow towards it. You know, it's not necessarily our first inclination, and correct me if I'm getting any of this wrong as I paraphrase. But it's not always our first inclination, but eventually, like water flowing down, we arrive at it, essentially.
Number 2, water does not refuse dirty or soiled water. What's one insight from your group?
Well, we had a few. I'll go with one that expands on the idea of the ones. We talked for a while about how it, spread the soil around so that one set, but it's not left in just a bit of water, but it's brought out. We also thought that along the lines of magnanimity, it's not just true of dirt or soil, it's also true of things that could be considered good for the water. Materials that also doesn't just spread around with any that, it also spreads around with things, which, where you're one of your magnanimity, it's not just for the good, it's as well as
Thank you. How about number 3? When faced with obstacles, water takes a winding course.
pick one. So a lot of wisdom in how water sort of has this non-human aspect to it, that Jesus passively started the idea of how where it was and how to deal with it going. But when you're being an obstacle as opposed to being overwhelmed by us, or you decide to give up and like that. So that's all the conceptions and just stop.
Number 5, water is patient. I'm sorry, I skipped one. Number 4, water adapts itself to any situation and fits any size container. So you had that one.
We did.
Okay.
I did a lot of the talking. Would you guys like to make it a different insight?
We talked about it quite a bit. I don't really recall everything. I think that you know, as it goes through cycles, being in a body of water, air to a glacier, so there's change, and it adapts to, that environment. If it's warm, it's liquid. If it's cold, it turns solid. So it adapts and changes. So adaptability, depending upon the temperature, it's a liquid. It gets hotter, turns into a vapor, falls out. If it gets cold again, could turn into a glacier. It's warm again now, so it goes through a cycle, and so it adapts to what is the environment around it. So, just like we have to adapt to the environment around us.
Hey, number 5, water is patient. You did that one.
So we spoke about the attributes of water and in this regard, that the capacity for something that seems so gentle and elusive, because it can take the form of a vessel, that it can put a hole in a stone. So that is an attribute of water. And then we spoke about what is an attribute of perseverance. And that also is an attribute. It can be incremental. It can take a week, a day, a month, 10,000 years, but there's an inevitability. So the being inevitable is something that came up in our conversation.
Number 6, water is not afraid of throwing itself over a cliff. We got the fun one.
Yes, we had come to the conclusion that the gritting courage is that the water itself, as my friend now said, the water knows its nature. It has no fear. The water at the top of the waterfall, the same water at the bottom, and it goes over freely because his friends are waiting for him at the bottom of it. And that's the courage that it takes to live according to its own nature. All waterfalls die. And at the end of the fall is all his friends. Same as it's coming to the Buddhist temple.
And number 7, water travels ceaselessly to reach the ocean. What did this one come up with?
We talked about unity and traveling in life, about how the different things we do over the years and the different things we do in the space of a week or two, these things come together and take us to the next place.
So I encourage you to continue your conversations after service and to take this with you and see what you can do with it this week. Maybe you want to go sit by that stream or lake or something like that. Maybe you want to try copying it down, memorizing, doing a little journaling. So please enjoy working with these courses that were given to us by Simon Soon. So let's have some announcements, and then we'll do the 4 great vows. Who's doing the announcements?
Good morning, everybody. We have public services every Sunday at 10 a.m. And then are we on hiatus for the afternoon for the summer?
Yes.
Okay, so starting in the fall, on first and third Sundays, we'll have a 4 p.m. service, but that's on hiatus for the summer.
Our next family service will begin in September. So this is our All Sunday service where you can bring your children in your life. We have a one-day meditation retreat coming up on a Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. August 10th. And our long summer retreat in Chicago will begin June 28th, so just next week through July 3rd. The introductory meditation class that we offer will also begin again in September. This is the 5 Thursday evening class, and our yoga classes will return in September as well. But ongoing throughout the summer, we have various study groups, including our member sitting on Wednesday evenings, both in person and on Zoom, the Way of the Bodhisattva study group on Thursday mornings via Zoom, and Recovery Dharma, which is every Sunday afternoon. Tuesday.
In the historic Buddha Hall next door, in the library.
Those of you who are taking precepts or who are supporting those taking precepts, we'll see you on July 4th in Chicago. And then coming up at the end of July is our Peace Camp, which is our overnight Buddhist family camp held out at Camp Talaki and Howell. That begins July 27th. And there's a flyer in the foyer if you would like more information about that. And then coming up in August is a special day called Ulambana Day, which is a special service that we offer every year for people to honor those in their lives who have passed, or perhaps who they have had a difficult relationship with and have some desire to reconcile. So we'll be talking a little bit more about Ulambana Day and how to sign up sheet, because there is some preparation work for this special ritual, but just something to be thinking about if that speaks to you. That will be coming up in August. Are we having work practice today?
Yes, we're going to have 15 minutes waiting in the front door. Just right outside the door. We've got the biggest boots in town.
Oh, I just go right now.
Really?
So you're all invited to stay for 15 minutes of eating in the garden outside.
And I think, you want,
Well,
we're already done.
we did
Well,
it.
We got them down, but we can use help with the fans. We want to switch the direction of the fan. And so if someone could help Samoon with that, he can show us what to do. So one volunteer for that. Somebody want to? One more, please. Thank you. Okay. So Alex will help.
And the temple is entirely supported by your kind donations and kind money. There is a fish bowl in the foyer if you would like to make a financial contribution to the work of the temple. And if you would like to participate in work practice, a good time to come is Saturdays from 3 to 5 p.m. to work outside in the garden or whatever else needs to be done. You're welcome to stay afterward and ask any questions that you might have. We decided not to serve hot tea today because it is a little warm, but you're still welcome to stay and socialize after our service. So thank you for being here.
Please join me in the four great vows. All beings, one body.
All beings, one body.
I vow to liberate.
I vow to liberate.
Blind passions, one root.
Blind passions, one root.
I vow to terminate.
I vow to terminate.
Dharma gates, one mind.
Dharma gates, one mind.
I vow to penetrate.
I vow to penetrate.
The great way of Buddha.
The great way of Buddha.
I vow to realize.
I vow to realize.
And then we'll stand and we'll close with 3 final vows.